Welcome back to Kinsale's Trident Hotel and to South Tonight. And let's welcome my next guest. She is Breda Gardner, the author of a brand new book called Words of Wisdom for Your Health and Happiness. And she joins me right now. Welcome, Breda.
Thank you, Martina.
Now, before we talk about the book, tell me a little bit about yourself, because you're a natural healer. There's a lot of natural remedy advice in this book, but you come from a more conventional medicinal background in nursing, isn't that right?
That's right, Martina. I trained as a nurse here in Dublin, and I basically spent 16 years as a nurse working. In my 20s, I actually suffered from depression and was on antidepressants for 3 years. And as a result, I found that while I was on the antidepressants, I felt that even though they alter the chemical imbalance that I had, I actually felt that I felt numb while I was on them. I couldn't feel happiness or joy, or I couldn't even feel sadness. And I really wanted to discover another way on how to find and connect to my own inner joy inside myself. And as a result, I suppose this journey for me, not alone this book, but all the years that I've been doing all the various therapies that I've learned have been really a journey to find what if one suffers from depression, it's not alone about having the chemical imbalance, but what causes the chemical imbalance is every bit as important. And this book will give lots of people answers, maybe answers on how they can heal themselves with natural medicine like homeopathic medicine.
So obviously you had to have an open mind at that point, and how did you know what direction exactly to go in? Because I mean, now you know all about homeopathy, like you say, iridology, nutrition, kinesiology, and presumably they all play a part, but what helped you the most?
What helped me the most? Yes, it's a very good question. Well, I think actually on my journey, one of the first courses that I actually did was exercise to music. I was an aerobics teacher. I used to go in a night duty as a nurse, and then I would teach 2 classes in the week, and I really enjoyed that. And from that I went on, I did massage, I did aromatherapy. I learned then about iridology, the study of the eyes. I learned about muscle testing and ways and how you can find maintaining causes as to why the body goes out of balance. And then I discovered homeopathic medicine. And when I discovered homeopathic medicine, I found, wow, the mind-body connection to the physical essence of the body was just amazing. So really, when I studied homeopathy, it got me to understand more about myself and how the mind and the physical body connects together.
And was it homeopathy then that allowed you to come off conventional medicine at that point in your life and go on homeopathic remedies instead?
No, it wasn't actually, Martina. I didn't know about homeopathic medicine then. As much as I would have loved to have, I didn't really know about it. What actually helped me very much was I found a book, and it was by Dr. Wayne Dyer. It's called Your Erroneous Zones. And in it was great. It gave great explanations on one's emotions in one's life. And I read this book and I felt, well, here's a guy that seems to understand more about me. I thought the book was written about me basically when I read it. And I started applying positive thinking. So I started my journal and I wrote down affirmations, positive affirmations every day. And I kept affirming and praising myself and saying things that I loved about myself. And I kept enforcing this and enforcing this. And so your intention creates your experience. And so then over a matter of time, I came off my medication. And 23 years on, I've never gone back to being on antidepressants. So fantastic. Here I am, a living example.
Yes, congratulations.
Thank you.
And you have a belief, don't you, that for a lot of ailments, it's a case of energy being blocked in our system. Can you tell me a bit more about that and how we might unblock that energy?
Yes, well, there's 2 ways really, well, not just 2 ways, there's many ways of looking at energy in the body. If you just take, for instance, the energy with regard to the head area, sometimes people have too high energy in their head area. And by that I mean that if you just take a thought is energy in itself. Now, if you get a thought and the thought stays stuck, that means that you have, like, it's an opinion. And what's one's truth is not necessarily another person's truth. So that you sometimes get people, you say you're open, but you get a lot of people that are not open. I always say to people, be open to everything and closed to nothing. That means that, for instance, if you get somebody being skeptical I mean, sometimes I get skeptics coming in saying, I'm here because you help somebody, a member in my family, but I'm not really a great believer. And I'll say, well, okay, so usually the remedy, I'd help give them a remedy just to help bring some excess energy down out of their head and get them back into their body again, if that makes sense. In other words, you can do that even without a remedy. I always say to them, practice maybe the wife or the husband relationship, whereby I might say to the wife, give your husband the chance to have his opinion. And I might say to the wife, zip it, listen to him. Don't necessarily, you know, the husband might have a thought and the wife might say, well, my way is the right way. So the husband says, well, your way is always the way. I'm never going to, you know, in other words, freedom of the mind is a great thing. If there was more people having freedom of the mind, then I suppose in a way there would be more inner peace.
So who's got the blocked energy in that case of the husband and wife? Is it the wife for not taking on board his idea, or him for the fact that his idea is suppressed?
It may be, it depends really. I'm just giving you one example. It may be, I'm talking about if the wife came in to see me in the clinic, I might say practice, you know, being in the company of your husband and listening more. In other words, agree to differ.
Yeah.
In a sense that let him have his opinion, and even if you disagree, so what if you disagree? There's not necessarily, you know, a right and a wrong. Does it matter? It doesn't really matter. So in a sense that can be too much energy in the head. But when you have suppressed energy in the body, then one's vital force can be quite suppressed. And that in itself, you can find an example of suppression, maybe blocked emotions, not tuning into how you feel. I was talking about my own depression in my 20s. I didn't understand how I felt. All I knew was that, I suppose, in a sense, that my negative thoughts created my feeling within my body. And the feeling that I felt was not allowing me to be able to live life as I wanted. In other words, I became ill, I became very sad, I became very depressed. And as a result of that, the response in my body, you know, was depression. But if you change that thought pattern and change it to be positive, then the feeling can only be happy. And then the feeling within the body, the response is, I am well. And, you know, that's the essence, really, is thoughts create feelings and the body will respond.
And getting back to the book, I mean, it's based on articles that you've written for various different newspapers on various different aspects of health and different ailments. What are the most common ones that you tend to be asked about, or even in your clinics that people present to you?
As in questions or as in physical complaints?
Yeah, a bit of both, as in, you know, what ailments are people coming to you with, wanting your expertise?
The most ailments, I suppose, that I would treat quite a lot would be a lot of depression, a lot of fatigue, a lot of chest infections, a lot of, I suppose, you know, when people come into me with physical complaints, even if it's just, let's just take, for example, repeated chest infection. If the repeated chest infection keeps, you know, another antibiotic, and then the essence of it is that when I muscle test, I find they're going down in virus. Well, no amount of antibiotic will, you know, actually, it won't cure the virus. So what I tend to do is give remedies to boost the immune system, to help more with the immune system. And in cases, I tell them where the emotion attached, as in a lady I had, you know, this week was a lady who had suffered a lot of grief. She had, she had a broken marriage and she had 2 broken relationships, and now she was hiding behind the wall, and the wall to her was her security. I've been hurt so many times. I'll hide behind the wall, it's my safety valve, and I will not get. For her, what she needed to do was get more in touch with her feelings, connect to her own joy, her own happiness, do things that she loved to do. So in a way that it would help her to heal herself.
Yeah. Okay, well, it probably sounds easier said than done, but I hope that she does embark on that journey, and that others do if they read the book, indeed, Words of Wisdom for Your Health and Happiness. It's by Breda Gardner. And Breda, thank you very much for joining us on the show this evening.
Thank you, Martina.
I know that it's a very wide topic and a very fascinating one too. I wish we had more time, but that's it for the moment. And that's it for tonight's show and our last from Kinsale. We've had a great time here at the Trident Hotel, and our thanks to everybody who welcomed us here, and thanks to all the great guests that we had during the week as well. Now, next week on my Munster travels, I am going to be heading to County Clare to the Templegate Hotel in Ennis, to be exact. So meeting the locals there, and more topics for you, as well as all the regular features too, of course. So join us Monday to Friday for that. It's South Tonight here on Channel South, Monday to Friday at 7. And from all of us here in Kinsale, though, for the moment, it's bye-bye. And look at the weather before we go.